Meet the Ademola family. A family of 3, Adewale being the father and the head of the family, Adenike the mother, and Adunni their daughter. The Ademola family lived in a very big village named the Goke village, where they lived in peace. Adenike was a good wife and a great cook, and she always taught her daughter how to cook. She never let her daughter rest while she was cooking. She always allowed her daughter assist her in the kitchen so she could become a good cook and a good wife like her to her future husband. And Adunni has always heard from her father's lips when he would eat and say while eating, "My wife is the best cook ever. This is so delicious." And Adunni would smile and would want to be like her mother one day. Adewale was a farmer, and he was the head farmer of a farm he inherited from his father. He was literally the owner of the farm, and he would always bring his harvest, half of his harvest, home for foodstuffs and sell the rest in the market. That was his own means of earning a living. Adunni loved music from a very tender age, to the extent that she saved the money that she would use for eating when she was still in school to buy a picture of a musician performing. And whenever she looked at the picture in the night, she would see herself in the picture. But she never let her parents know, because she knew they would never approve of it. And one day, she summoned the courage to tell her parents about her dreams, but her parents just ignored her and turned deaf ears at her opinions. They frowned at her and told her that that is not what she needed for now. All she needed was to get married to a rich man who would take her and her family out of this life they are living and put them in a better one. Adunni felt broken by her parents' word. She always thought that, why do they always treat me like this? Why can't they just allow me live my dreams? All they care about is for me to get married. If they bring any man to this house, or if any man comes to this house, I am not ready to marry any man just because he is rich. I want to go to Lagos and make my own money, but they will not listen. She would always say in her mind, and sometimes even out loud. Few weeks later, an unexpected visitor visited the Ademola family. It was a man named Olatunji. Olatunji was a young man who traveled to abroad at a young age and came back with a lot of riches to help his family. He was allowed to travel out of the village because he was a boy. He was a male child, not a female child. A female child was not allowed to leave the village, but just allowed to stay there till a man comes for her hand in marriage in their family house. Olatunji and his family were very known in the village of Goke because Olatunji was the first male child in a long time, about centuries ago, to travel to the overseas, and people celebrated with him when he went and when he got back. Even the Ademola family were so shocked to see Olatunji in their house. And when he got there, they asked him why he came. And he said, "I want to ask for your daughter's hand in marriage, Adunni." Adunni was once Olatunji's classmate. Although Adunni never liked Olatunji, Olatunji always liked Adunni and wished and always bragged to all his other friends that he would marry Adunni one day. And his dreams was just about to come true. When Adunni's parents heard his intentions towards their daughter, they smiled and grinned at him like their cheeks were burning out of their smiles. They had always wished for a rich man to come and ask for Adunni's hand in marriage because they knew their daughter was a beautiful girl. But now that it was Olatunji that came, this was the biggest dream ever. It was just like a dream come true. A man from overseas coming to ask for our daughter's hand in marriage. This would be a great opportunity for us to expand, they said in their minds. Adunni watched them welcome him from her room and also saw them bidding him farewell. She wasn't able to hear what they were saying, but she knew that this thing they were about to bring out won't be something she would like. Adewale and his wife Adenike told Adunni about what they had heard while laughing and smiling. When Adunni heard this, she felt ashamed of her parents. They were about to sell her out for money, but she loved them still. But she never agreed to this kind of decision that they had tried to take. Adunni wept in her room at night. She never dreamt of her life turning out to be like this. She dreamt of being a popular musician in the city, but all those dreams don't matter anymore now. She had to agree to what her parents pursued her to do, because if she doesn't agree, it will only be like a form of disrespect to her parents, which she never wished to do to them. And after a few weeks of Adewale and his wife matchmaking Adunni and Olatunji together, Adunni finally agreed to marry Olatunji. She did it for her parents' happiness, and her parents were so happy when they heard that Adunni had finally agreed. Olatunji paid for Adunni's dowry, and the marriage was getting prepared for. And after a few weeks of preparing, buying food, buying drinks, the marriage was set. The marriage happened in front of the Ademola family house, and Adewale and Adenike were so happy. A lot of guests came, and they were so happy for the union between their daughter and Olatunji. They never regretted any action they took, because they knew this would open new doors to riches and wealth for them. Adunni was not happy from the time she was preparing to get dressed till the time she was fully dressed. She frowned all the way through, and even the ladies dressing for her noticed her frowning and told her to smile, but she just ignored them because she knew that there was nothing to be happy for about this. They wore two attires for their wedding, the one bought by Olatunji's family and the one bought by Adunni's parents. The expensive one they wore was from the Olatunji family, and the second one they wore was from the Adunni's family. Adunni managed to forge a smile, but the smile was not from deep within. She was filled with sadness all through her wedding, but she tried smiling. The villagers who attended sprayed money, showered them with gifts, and both families took their share. The next day, when the wedding had ended and Adunni had gone to her new home, her parents were busy arranging the money they had made from the wedding and all the gifts they had gotten, and they lived happy that their daughter was finally in a happy home where she could call her own house. But that wasn't what was going on in the Olatunji's house. When Adunni got there, they took her to her husband's room and she changed her clothes. And while sitting on the bed, she cried and felt devastated. She wept bitterly, but there was no one to console her. And just so you know, this was not the beginning of Adunni's enjoyment and happiness, but it definitely was the beginning of her suffering and tears. Do you want to know what happened after? Then watch out for part 2. Just do everything you see on the screen, and you might be the first to see my latest video. Just do that because time is ticking.